Warning! The following video contains seizure-inducing lights that might cause seizures to those who are prone to that. If that is not your thing, I suggest you don't watch this video. Seizure warning! Some of this male dog's default names can be Peach or Misty. It's kinda weird this place is named Eagleland and yet there's very few eagles here, if at all. Ness was just sleeping in his bed and then he gets out very quickly yet his bed is still completely made. I wish my bed was like his. What is this picture frame supposed to be? It looks like a portrait of a skull sitting on top of a kabuto with boots has been turned sideways. Is this supposed to be adult humor? If so, this joke is not funny at all. Liar exaggerate. That name is actually kind of funny, but it makes you wonder why his mom gave him that name. Yeah, I know I'm questioning logic in a game where parking meters and driverless taxis attack you, and where you get psychic powers, but where's the fun in seeing this game if I can't? Besides, this game tends to have some realistic elements in it. Pokey is ramming into these cops and signs. And now this horrible mother is making us answer the door when someone's knocking like a psychopath. Flirting with our mom. Now our mom makes us answer the phone when she sent us to go out, while she meanwhile isn't doing anything. Siblings have to have very similar names, cliche. Now we're stealing from our sister. Character from the future is here to warn us that the future is bleak, cliche. Wisdom, courage, and friendship? The Earthbound Triforce is a jerk to power. Starman our enemies? Wow, this game really hates Mario. Pokey's mom's canonical name is Lordna. Her mother must not have cared about her. Pokey's dad punishing them sounds like he's flipping some sort of switch to torture them. Good father you are. Buzz's death comes straight out of nowhere by getting comedically smacked, but most of his dialogue seems serious. So is this a satire or an actually sad scene? I know we were out a long time, but it's dawn already? It was 2 in the morning like 15 minutes ago. Does time go by as fast as it does in the Zelda universe? On the overworld, this dog's ears are like a husky's or Yorkie's, but in battle, its ears are more like a Cocker Spaniel's and a Labrador's. We can only borrow maps at the library? Human Shy Guy. This photographer's kinda funny, but he can eventually get pretty annoying when you're just trying to progress. Okay, I'll take some sins off for this great feature. If you back attack a certain enemy when you're strong enough, that enemy instantly dies and you gain experience. Lousy mayor cliche. That's actually kinda funny. Ness can hear these guys whispering from all the way out here. Ness doesn't go blind from this. Yeah, take a hamburger from the garbage can. It's not like you'll get sick. This arcade is called Game. Very creative name for this place. It took 19 years for people to finally have an easy way of getting this game. And we have this song to blame for that. I get that they prolonged the runaway system because it's supposed to comedically build up tension, but it just comes off as annoying. Tracy works at the X-Cargo Express? She's too young. I wish cars reacted this fast in real life. Obvious discount Zelda Fairy. The boss theme in this game sounds partially like the final hours theme from Majora's Mask. No fair! The policemen can go through this house faster than us. I like this, but they could have at least turned the net music off to make these songs conflict less. This sign says you should have the pleasure of owning this luxurious home by the shore, no matter how much money you have, but this man charges $7,500 for it. Speaking of which, it's not even that nice. I get that it's a joke, but scamming us is not funny. What, do meteorite attacks happen all the time here? These cops agree to supporting child abuse to test your skill. That's fattest. Captain Strong has an unsettling enemy battle theme for his battle theme. Kinda random, but then again this song doesn't even sound all that unsettling anyways. This person is excited about a meteorite that could have killed everyone. There's a chaos theater in this game. I wonder if it has people like Alex or Josh Scorcher or Fawful's Minion working there. Looks like the Runaway 5 have 2 more members, probably Sully Pones and Josh Jepson. Magic bus that doesn't turn its wheels. Every form of media in the world needs to have the damsel in distress cliche. And before you call me a feminist, I just don't understand why this cliche is just so common. This guy is disgusting saying that flies would make his sandwiches taste better. The pot seller is admitting that he's considering stealing in an area where people can hear him. It feels weird that you can go to a preschool in this game. Paula's mother doesn't care about her daughter's safety. What a ripoff! You can only use the bike when solo, even though for most of the game you're in a group. This is one of the reasons I don't like this game as much as I like Pokemon. Then again, why would it matter since it's barely any faster? And when you're talking to someone on the bike, you are immediately forced to get off, and you can't even use it when your friends are unconscious. And even when you try to return it, the man acts like a bully. Now we just stole Paula's teddy bear and are going to use it as a shield against enemies. I wonder how long it'll be until Woody teams up with a bunch of mutant toys and scares us into playing nice. Now we must give money to the Apple Kid, check the statue, and then leave in order to get past this part. How in the heck was anyone supposed to find that out on their own? After you beat Territorial Oaks, they explode, and if you run out of health during it, it triggers a glitch that can mess up your game big time. Thankfully you can avoid it if you mesh through the text boxes fast enough, so I'm adding 3 since instead of 10. Are you sure these are trumpets I'm hearing, or is this fart music? Super Blue? I know we're supposed to see the town being painted blue as a bad thing, but what's wrong with the color blue? Yeah, Mr. Carpenter is threatening people, but the game's still implying that blue is bad. The fact that a small child even stands a chance against a bear. I know he's a kid with psychic powers, but you can beat him with your normal moves. I hate homesickness so much. It can happen like 5 minutes after you last called home, and it happens at random. When it happens, Ness won't do what you want him to do. I don't care if it's supposed to make this game feel realistic. This is worthy of 5 cents. So these are the Lilliput steps. I wonder if an alternate universe has a Herdput steps or a Settliput steps area in this game. Mr. Carpenter's electric attacks might as well not exist since they just reflect off your Franklin badge and hit him. This cultist wants to get out of here, then stays put. Cole is surprisingly great for someone her age, but we get her at level 1. This Mr. Saturn thinks he's one of the 7 dwarfs. When your characters die, you have to take them to the hospital. Makes sense, but even if you get game over, it's really cute that people say Paul is our girlfriend, but how do they know that we're interested in love yet? I understand some people hit puberty around the age of 12, but Ness looks much younger than he actually is. Rambling evil mushrooms are annoying because of their ability to reverse your directions. In the Japanese version, your mom asks you if you're feeling better after hearing her sexy voice. She's saying that to her own child. Who does she think she is? Lusamine? This woman is a jerk to her husband. Every comedy ever needs to have an unfunny fart joke somewhere. Imaginary Gary's theme from Fairly Odd Parents? If the bus is too loud for ghosts to bother them, why could Ness have just made a lot of noise to draw them away while he was going through the tunnel? Even though everything's dreary and 3 as of now, when you look out the house windows, everything looks fine. I guess it would make sense that this guy would think Tessie's just a model, but how would he explain the blinking? This black one's completely clean. Do you know how much of a nightmare it is to clean them? Ditching school. Wouldn't it be better for this guy to lie down next to the wall since the gate's more dangerous to climb over? This stupid bubble monkey keeps getting into battles by running in random directions. Scum bubble floating. What are ducks doing in a cave? This man says we're kids, even when there's only 1 kid in our party. Does every elderly genius ever need to have the same hairdo that Dr. Andronuts has? Also, he looks old for the father of a kid. He just accepts the fact that someone talked to us telepathically. The scavenger is much faster near the ground than it is in the clouds. If this guy's against us, why is he telling us how to beat the zombies? Judge the genius of the group, but his starting IQ is low. Game can't IQ properly. The bogey 10's face is the last thing to disappear like it's a discount Cheshire cat. Wow, I referenced that movie in my Everything Wrong With series more than I thought. Either the zombie paper is the same color as the 10's floor or it's invisible. They give no indication that you're supposed to stay at the hotel while waiting for the zombies. This zombie somehow knows that we're the ones who put up the zombie paper. What's the point of this town's inn if this Mr. Saturn right next to it can restore your health for free? This game literally makes you do absolutely nothing for 3 minutes. Master Belch cares about safety? And he can write? These here enemies have such disgusting names. Kids will get in trouble for saying it. Why would you have a giant pile of puke in a kid's game? We just washed off all that puke in the hot spring and no one will want to go in it now. This enemy's name shouldn't be in a kid's game. This kid can't find his house, and now he's going to have to sleep on the streets and die. This nice and pleasant bus driver just leaves us in the middle of a desert. The department store spook is a discount Bowser. An enemy's attack is grumbling about today's youth, proving this game does have some funny moments. Forsyth's a nice place, but it isn't as big as it seems. I know that Top Hollow Theater has its letters like this, but if you were to look at it in real life, all the letters would be diagonal. Yep, I'm being a jerk. Yes, they really sense seductive in a kid's game. Nice, you tell us that people get eaten by dinosaurs, then you tell us to look for dinosaurs. Who the heck bets their shirt on a game of solitaire? Who left $1,000 in the middle of the desert? Are you sure this is a gigantic ant and not a gigantic bee? A grown man's asking kids to sleep here. Sure was nice of this bus to stop when this random bulldozer came up, and if the driver somehow knows that George wants to talk to Ness. This woman talks about dumping her boyfriend when she's in earshot of him. An arms dealer is in the back of a department store expecting no one to find him by these boxes. Also, why does an arms dealer care about us? Game goes into the damsel in distress cliche twice in the same game, and with someone much more competent than Peach could ever be. Ness doesn't recognize his own former best friend. Why do we need to let these guards remove us? We have psychic powers! This remix of the Star Spangled Banner is another reason this game didn't get to us sooner. You're right, it really isn't funny. The bartender's eye patch switches sides when we talk to him from this side. Nearly everything's pitch black and moonside, making it hard to navigate. The area is inconsistent with the whole opposite thing. All these enemies on the screen slow down the frame rate. I understand the opposite thing in the place, but sometimes you won't want to spend money on something but then end up buying it anyway. Now we learn that moonside was an illusion, and this whole time we were walking around this warehouse. But were we running into walls during this? And what if we opened the door by mistake while opening one of the doors in the dream? Then we'd be walking around town attacking people like maniacs while we mistake them for enemies. Game pulls the Majora's Mask well on us by making us keep going back to get all these items you might not expect to need. You have to get the fresh egg, then bring it here fast before it hatches. Runaway 5 Ex Machina. They don't tell you that you have to have saved the Runaway 5 to be able to do this. How do you have no money? You're musical geniuses. Why don't you get any money for your performances? I knew you'd save me, Cliché. I understand Monotoli was under Giga's control, but what did he need Paula for? Cool, will Shrek be there? Too many toasters? Embarrassing parent, Cliché. Game has us get the next piece of the 8 melodies in the wrong order. This is the third part of the song, but the fourth part we're getting. These crocodiles really are strong. How are they staying on their tail? And how did they change from brown to blue? These whirling robos, woolly shamblers, and lesser mooks can spawn quite early, even though you're no match for them at this point. At least it's not like in the Game Boy Advance version of Superstar Saga where you can fight Tenumas and Paratroopies before you get to Bean Bean Castle Town without them giving you so much of a hint that you're no match for them while at the same time forcing you to redo the progress you already did. I'm pretty sure the Skyrunner would leave more rubble than that. But I'll just take off 15 cents here so I can save you time instead of having to take off cents for the other songs I want to talk about in this game. Just what we need. The game to introduce payphones. I wouldn't mind that if that wasn't how you save your game. First off, we don't look that serious. Second off, you're a real jerk and I hate you. This guy fails at being a grave robber if he's telling random children this. Does this dog think he's Dr. Seuss? This equipment is extremely overpriced. Why? I mean, I understand we're not supposed to have it yet, but how are we supposed to know that? This person isn't accurate. Tropical places rain a lot. They're not always sunny. Well, that man was mean to land on the table. This woman just drugged children. Dalam was originally going to be a form of land that was shaped like water being sprayed from an elephant's trunk. Why did they get rid of that? Then again, if they didn't, I'd still stand for the fact this land somehow hasn't lost balance and caused mass genocide. This person's hairdo is literally used as a phone, so I guess he predicted the telephonesis joke in the movie Shorts. Which I seem to be the only one in the world who remembers that movie, and even if someone remembers it, it'll likely be the nostalgia critic doing a review of it. How does Ness's father know Pooh's number? I have no idea how this idiot became a fan favorite. This part's kind of annoying since you don't have many ways of knowing that you have to stand here even when you're told to stop. And if you get distracted, you have to walk all the way back to the palace and talk to the master in order to do this again. This person is a jerk to Pooh for lying like this. Also, I understand that we're supposed to avoid distractions, but what if a real emergency happens when we're doing this? Propeller tables. Great job, Venus, writing your autograph on that banana. It's not like it'll dry off considering how it's on a banana peel or anything. Game makes it look like she's slapping us even though she isn't. Walking through the sewer water is actually kind of disgusting if you think about it. I mean, especially since they actually show stuff in the sewer. What's that thing on the back of the plague rat of doom? Is it rotting flesh or bones sticking out? That's creepy. The background of this fight looks like a Chozo artifact. Carrot key. Hey, deadly mice, shouldn't you guys be in Dreamland stealing a pink Puffball's cake? The only way is to get rid of possession or to die or to see this guy at a hospital because you can't cure it with an item. So now this cap's gone from being Scar to being a grown-up Bart Simpson. This woman is hitting on someone who's too young for her. Saying Ness isn't some kind of mama's boy is somewhat inaccurate when he keeps hesitating to fight because he keeps thinking about his mom even 5 minutes after talking to her. This Kraken doesn't look like a Kraken, he looks like some kind of giant eel. It feels a little bit weird to have 2 desert levels in this game. Discount Agrabah. I bet Dungeon Maker is a cool guy. I just hope he didn't get rid of amiibo functionality and force you to pay if you want to upload your courses or play anyone else's courses. Enough with the lame toilet humor. It's not funny. It's things like this why I think this game's kind of overrated. Hey, is that an angry mom outside my door? But why will the snake only bite the enemy and not us? This shop sells a broken item. Piggy nose. How did the Escargo Express guy get all the way up here to Dalam? Speaking of which, is it even possible to get up here without teleporting? I'm kind of curious as to what the Tengu is supposed to be. He looks like Will Smith attached to Mary's mother from the SpongeBob episode Chocolate with Nuts. Ness can see Apollo's dress when climbing down these convenient ropes. This surprisingly doesn't count as a back attack. The Kiss of Death just gives me the creeps. It's like pretty much every Sanctuary Guardian has practically copy-pasted dialogue. Which one of the Thunder and Storm guys is the dominant one? The Pink Cloud Shrine takes a very short time to get to as opposed to the other year Sanctuary locations. I feel the song is supposed to sound beautiful, but the fact that the 8 melodies are distorted completely ruins it. The photographer doesn't sweat in the desert like us. The pyramid theme is just weird. Food items restoring your health does kind of make sense, but at the same time not really. It's not like getting cut by an enemy will get healed by eating hot sauce. Grave robbing. How do these sentient hieroglyphics eat? Not only do they not seem to have visible mouths, but even if they do eat, their food would probably go right through them. Who puts question marks on coffins? The Guardian General looks sillier than his henchmen. This Gelato Day resort hasn't melted in the desert. Illuminati symbol. By live far away from us for a while, you mean for 39 minutes. Did he borrow Link's flute? And then he just leaves the only ones who can save the world in the middle of a harsh desert. The way Dungeon Man says that we're inside of his body sounds really disturbing, and not even in a funny way. And how did he even write notes inside of himself? Aren't we too strong to be fighting these guys? Okay, first off, gross. Second off, I'm pretty sure your belly button would be seen from the outside. The good night bench apparently has enough space for 4 people to sleep. And how funny is it that no enemies seem to kill us while we're asleep? Brick Road's frontal sprite looks stupid. Roll credits. This guy's much smaller than he was when we were inside him. The Dungeon Man, who could destroy enemies very easily, can knock down a few trees. How does this game predict annoying hand-holding in modern games? 46 seconds of submarine riding. Aside from this person trying to rob us of money, how is he even able to store our money for us? And how is he not getting killed by the poisoned swamp water? Master Belch just told us he changed his name to Puke, but when you target him, it says he changed his name to Barf. And why is he red now? Does he now throw up of someone who threw up blood? Pooh ex machina. This is the only time in the whole game where you need the eraser. Starman Supers can't be fought after this point in the game. What a great parent you are, trusting random kids with your son. Since the lights keep turning on and off in this place where we're walking on these platforms past gaps, how are we not falling into them? Oh wait, invisible walls. If these people can't breathe in these tubes, how are they not dead? They got out of the tubes without them breaking. Oh, great faith in me. An item called Death Ray has no use now that you have the bazooka. This guy's literally a sentient rock, and he must have literally the most miserable life in the world. He's stuck planted here and never being able to have any fun. That just makes me uncomfortable. I bet that people will be offended by the uncontrollable spear's design. There's a bag of Dragonite in this game. I wonder what happened to the bag of Dratini and Dragonair. Thanks for giving me that image. This is an awesome wall, but I guess we should be glad that Nuts is only 12 because then he'd probably have disturbing secrets and his friends would be there to find out. Since these dinosaurs are impossibly bigger than you, stepping on you should kill you. Also, there's only 2 species of dinosaur here, with only one of them seeming as big as the map suggests. And what's with that dead stare in its eyes? It's creepy. You're telling a 12-year-old kid that he smells good. How do geysers heal me? Interesting, but does this bird actually have phone powers? Or is this bird actually imitating the people that we're talking to, and somehow able to do those things that said characters are doing? The Escargo Express guy couldn't find us in a jungle, but he could find us on top of some cloud-like mountain that's literally impossible to go to on foot. 98 seconds of this rock telling us stuff we already know. Sometimes Lumin Hall is called Lumin Hole, which is obviously inconsistent. I don't think that Paula should be wearing her pink Alice dress to a volcano. I'm just surprised she's wearing it on a perilous journey. Wait, that's not an Alice dress, it's just a skirt? Well, limitations really made sprites easy to misinterpret. We get heat stroke when we're in a desert, but when we're literally inside a volcano, that doesn't count because this volcano probably has invisible air conditioners everywhere. I know I'm late to say this, but when the text boxes turn red when one of your party members faints, it kinda hurts my eyes for some reason. Dog abuse. Yep, the last of the 8 melodies is just one note. Wow, this is actually a really nice dream sequence. But in the Japanese version, Ness is naked. That's disturbing and ruins the mood. What is this? Does Ness remember all the way back when he was a baby? And were his parents invisible in the scene? Is Ness actually able to talk to his parents in the real world from his dream? Is he sleep talking? Is Everdread peeing in the bushes? I mean, I know people do that, but it's weird to see in a Nintendo game. Everyone's forming a line to read this sign. Your inventory space fills up very quickly, and that's one of the many gameplay annoyances in this game. If it weren't for things like this, Earthbound would have been higher on my favorite SNES games. It's still a good game, but here's 3 cents. And now you can take items out of your dream and bring them to the real world. Is this game going by SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom logic now? Route teleportation. The player's guide says that the Kraken drops a gutsy bat, even though they don't. So because you can't return to this area, people can spend so much time here looking for it but not find it. So I'm going to add 3 cents. I hate this boss. The Evil Eye's location is disgusting. Tracy gives us a serious dialogue and then transitions straight into comedic dialogue. After this, you can't go back at all. So if you want to do more in this game after saving in here, you have to start the whole game all over again. I'd be more upset if they didn't warn you earlier, but it's still worthy of a set. What's the point of giving us PK Starstorm Omega if it doesn't do much to most enemies at the end of the game and we're already to the point of no return? I don't see exactly what the point of having the face disorder not being able to send life forms into the past, other than making us think of 12-year-olds getting their heads cut open and giving us these boxed robot forms which we won't even see much of since we're spending most of the next level in battle where we can't see ourselves. How does Pokey recognize us? I mean, yeah, there's our hat, but there are other hats like it. If I may make a confession, I hate Pokey, even as a villain. I don't care where they were going with him. I personally don't like him because he's much more obnoxious and annoying than intimidating. You say you're terrified too, but you don't act terrified. If you're playing a pirated version of this game, your game will crash right here and all your save progress will be erased. I understand it's done to punish the people who have pirated copies, but that's still a pretty harsh punishment. And here begins one of the creepiest boss fights, as well as one of the most unique setups for an RPG boss. But this part of the song, which is mostly just one note, gets somewhat annoying. Pokey was somehow casting a shadow above thin air, so it's classic villain stupidity by telling us what we need to do. Idiot. So are our prayers being sent forward in time? And how are they affecting past gigas from the present? This is the part that caused a lot of people to get seizures, and some probably even died from that. And for that, I'm gonna have to add 50 cents. You still have to keep praying, even though your next prayer gets absorbed by the darkness, so you'll think it won't work anymore and that you'll have to fight him like normal, even though the next prayer is going to do it. How are we supposed to know that? And now our spirits float back to our bodies because the game demands it. You mean Pooh could have taught us this cool teleport spell that could have made teleporting so much easier? I'm not sure you would have been much help against Gigas. Well, I've been a jerk to this game, but this is a very heartwarming and romantic moment. This is one of the songs I removed since we're earlier in the video, but I'm sending it because everyone in the world had to use this song when honoring Satoru Iwata's death. I don't mean to come off as someone who doesn't respect the fact that he died, but there are plenty of other sad Nintendo songs people could have used. Unwavering Emotions from Pokemon Black and White, Sorrow from Xenoblade Chronicles.
I miss you.
Ito's friend was a jerk to him by recording him saying that for the credits without him knowing. What, you think I'm joking? Look it up. Ending on a very similar note to how it began, even though there's really no reason to, cliche. Game leaves us on a cliffhanger for a game that still isn't released in America yet. Stupid Nintendo of Japan.